All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and take our long break. This is a good opportunity to go grab a meal if you need one. Also, a good opportunity to stretch your legs, to connect with another Game Devs of Color Expo attendee, or maybe explore the Steam sale or some swap card booths. In the meantime, we also have a special guest returning from last year's Game Devs of Color Expo, Geek Girl Strong's very own Robin Warren. Robin is going to give us 3 sessions this year, broken into about 10-minute segments, to give us some exercise routines to help keep our bodies in good shape, even if we are geeks who sit. So let's go ahead and join Robin for a session, and we will see you after the break.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Wellness for Geeks Who Sit. I'm Robin, and it is great to be back again. But this year, if you joined us before, you might have remembered that we did one longer session of Wellness for Geeks Who Sit. This year, I am really excited that we're going to be splitting it up into 3 equal parts so that if you are coming to many days of the expo virtually, you'll be able to move and learn with me a little bit each day. And if you're someone who isn't here every day, you'll be able to pick out some movement throughout the expo for yourself. Now, each time that I offer this workshop, I like to make sure that I introduce myself to everyone a little bit first before asking you to trust me with your bodies. And this time around, this first session out of 3 will be a little bit of an introductory to me, as well as some upper body movements. Then in the next 2 sessions, we'll be doing a whole lot more moving, just to give you an idea of what you're getting yourself into. So like I said, my name is Robin Warren, and I'm the founder of a wellness business turned community called Geek Girl Strong. And a little bit about my professional background is that I have a bachelor's in physical education and a master's in health education. I was a New York City public school teacher for 5 years, and during that time, I got to witness students learning a lot about themselves, having taught mostly 6th through 12th grade. So that is your early adolescence into your late teen years for those who are not from the US public school system. And especially between 6th and 7th grade, humans tend to change a lot. They go from little babies in the 6th grade into little baby monsters in the 7th grade. And that's all of us. Even the nicest kid is a little less nice in the 7th grade or around that age. And what I would especially notice during this time for my students who are being raised to be young women in the world is that when they came back, especially in PE, I should say, I taught physical education, dance, and health. So in the gymnasium, I would start to see that it seemed like they felt as if they had to choose what kind of woman they were going to be for the rest of their lives. Were they going to now be deemed a tomboy because they were still willing to play kickball during PE? Were they now going to be very concerned with their looks and socializing and tell me things like, Miss Warren, I don't sweat anymore? Or were they going to really go into their mostly introverted, nerdy weirdness and just want to read manga on their floor spot and look up at me with a face of terror whenever I said it was time to start class? And then here I was at the time in my 20s, a Black woman who's under 5'5". I don't really look like the PE teacher in the movies. And I would only take time off from work when I was going to things like New York Comic Con. And I started telling my students, do you want to see this deadlift that I did? But also, I'm going to New York Comic Con. If you guys are good for the sub, I'll bring back some freebies for you. And through doing all of this with my students, I started seeing how much they related to me and to themselves and to pop culture all together. So I started doing that more often in PE. And the types of things that I would do was take games like Steal the Bacon and then call it the Hunger Games Cornucopia. And instead of all of my students just getting numbers, they would all get districts, and I would put on the whole show. And then, unfortunately, through teaching three different subjects and putting on a show, I burnt out in a fiery glory by my mid-20s. Unfortunately, like a lot of teachers, after about 5 years of teaching. From there, at that time, I was also attending meetup groups for nerdy people, things like Geek Girl Brunch, where I would tell other women about my work as a health and PE teacher. And then a lot of them would say things like, if you were my PE teacher, I might have not hated it so much, which is a huge compliment. And then they would say, do you train adults? And I realized that I didn't, but I could. And from there, I started getting certifications in health coaching and nutrition coaching in order to support my work as a PE teacher while also becoming a clinical health educator, where I mostly did family planning education. But of course, all sorts of health topics came through my office in my time at the clinic. And in health coaching, I really started to realize that this is how I could be of service to my community, to other weird athletes or nerds who wanted to take care of themselves like me. From there, it's now 10 years later, after I went on my own and started Geek Girl Strong, and we now have an international community. I am now also Associate Director of Communications for an educational organization, and so many things have happened. But what continues is me knowing the benefit of bringing health and wellness spaces to people rather than expecting that everyone will feel safe and comfortable or just have access to those things. So now I do virtual expos for game developers. I go to comic book conventions and I do workshops and other work like this with lots of people who are kind of like me. So that's a lot about me, and I've gotten a lot better at like figuring out how to nail that down because it's an even longer story than that. But I want for you to take a moment and think, how often do you sit? So it was about me, now it's about you. And you can write in the chat if you want to share, but you can also just think about this to yourself. Each day, on average, do you sit 7 hours a day? 8, 9, maybe 10, which honestly is probably around how much people sit when they're working their 9 to 5. And then what about 11? And what about 12 hours a day? And if it hasn't hit you yet, 12 hours a day would be literally half of a day. So anything more than that means that someone is sitting for more than half of their days on average. And for some people, this is through work. For some people, this is through just pure necessity and ability. And something that I always forget to mention right off the bat is that during PE or during my work with physical education in schools, I also had the opportunity to start my career off by teaching adaptive physical education, which means that I have the honor of teaching students with different physical abilities. And that makes it so that one of my sort of I don't know, my what I'm proud of doing and what is very important to me is making sure that I can help people find movement that works for them. So during this workshop, if there are things that maybe you're unable to do, I might offer a modification, which is a slight change on a movement that might be more accessible to you. And if you don't find one that's more accessible to you, you can always feel free to reach out to me. You can see all my information at the bottom there. So today we are going to get into a little bit of movement, like I promised. I hope that those of you who have heard my whole spiel before stuck around. I'm sorry that you have to hear the same jokes each time, but I'm glad that you're letting other people join in with us now. We are going to start with some upper body movement, warming it up and working it out. And this time around, you might see me look at my notes off to the side. This time around, we are going to be using some cameos. And one thing that changed since last year is that I had the opportunity of writing something called the Marvel Fitness Deck. And that is a deck of 50 cards where I got to choose a whole bunch of different superheroes and have them help everyone learn how to do different exercises. And so you'll be seeing many of the cards during these 3 sessions that are standing, but I think it's actually a really good example of the fact that you could do these standing or you could do them sitting. So we are in fact going to start off with some punches. Now, I don't care exactly how you do these punches, all that, because I'm not a boxing instructor, all that I really care about is that you don't completely lock out your elbow. I only care that you don't completely lock out your elbow so that you don't hurt yourself, especially if you're someone who hyperextends. So what you want to do is keep what's called a soft elbow, not completely straightening your arm. And we are going to make a box to protect your face in front of you. And we're going to punch forward, alternating our hands. It looks like this from the side. And we're going to do those 10 times. If we were in person, I would be asking for you to count it loud for me. So if you want to like count quietly to yourself to just get into the spirit of things, that's cool. But I will count to lead us through. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Next, we're going to continue warming up our upper bodies by using a punch a little bit different, kind of imagining that there is a box over your head that you can get a little prize out of, if you know what I mean. So we're going to take that same little form with your arms, that box, and imagine punching a box over your head like that. Ready? 10 times again. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. You can shake it out if you need to. Next, we are going to do what I like to call the remix. And for many people, it might feel a little bit like this, and that's okay. So if you get mixed up in what we're about to do, just know that if you mess up, you can keep going. I can't see you. If people are around you, hopefully they're not judgmental. We are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go back and forth. And we're going to try 20 of those all together. Okay, ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good job. I have a feeling that you did that very, very well. Next up, we are going to be doing arm circles. And we do actually have another cameo to help us with that. So if you are in a chair that has armrests on it, it might be difficult to do really big circles like this, right? So a way that you can change this up, which actually feels better to some people in terms of getting their shoulder to make really big circles, is to take your fingertips, place them on your shoulders, and do what I like to call elbow circles instead. So either way will work. We are going to do 5 big circles going forward, and then 5 big circles going back. All right, ready? Begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Awesome. All right, shake it out. And now we're going to do one more thing for your upper body today. A lot of times when I talk to creators, developers, really anyone these days, especially now that we use smartphones with one hand, a lot of people talk about weird pain or discomfort or any feeling in their hands and their wrists, especially when they want to go and try to do a plank or just live life in general, and they get these weird feelings in their wrist. And the thing is that with exercise alone, we can't strengthen your joints, including your knee joint, which we'll get to in another session, so you'll have to come back for that. But what we can do is strengthen the muscles that support that joint. So we can strengthen your hand muscles and your forearm muscles in order to help support your wrists. And that's what we're going to do now. So I want you to bring your hands up above your head. When you bring your fingertips as wide as you can, and then close into a fist. And we're going to do that as fast as you can, like you're saying hello. On your mark, get set, go. And if you're in a cubicle or something like that right now, and this would look really weird, you can feel free to kind of do that. It'll feel a little bit different, but no one will know what you're doing, I guess. And then we're going to go out to the side like a T, and you're going to just keep dropping the mic over and over again, like you said something really, really smart. From there, you're going to bring them down to your sides. You might have to scoot up on your chair to make space. And you're just going to keep dropping those grocery bags down on the floor after you made that one trip in because you're so strong. Now you're going to go back to dropping the mic because you're so smart. You're strong and you're smart. Then you're going to go up over your head and keep going. And it might be burning a little bit. And so you might want to say bye to me because you didn't exactly sign up for this. And then you're going to relax and shake it all out. So, like I said, this actually might feel a little warm to the touch now, but if you just like shake it out a little bit, it should feel pretty good. We're going to end up doing some stretches for this area of the body during our last session together. So you'll want to come to session 3 for that. But for now, for this session, you are all done. I'm going to double check. Yeah, we're all done today. So if you are interested in the Marvel Fitness deck, I'm going to pull up a slide for you right now. But also, if you are interested in what we're doing today or in any of the sessions, you can sign up for the Geek Girl Strong newsletter and then be sent a PDF with photos and names for all of the stretches and movements that we're going to be doing during the expo this year. If you're not going to be able to join us and you would like to know more about Geek Girl Strong or our wonderful community, you can find us at Geek Girl Strong on Instagram, geekgirlstrong.com, as well as on Patreon, where I've got to say, I don't know how I got so lucky, but we have some of the coolest nerds who just want to take care of themselves and each other in our Discord server that's been going on for 5 years. And I feel emotional and lucky to have them there. That is all for today. Yeah, that's all for today. I hope to see you in the next 2 sessions, but if I don't, I'm really proud of you for joining in today. Have a good rest of your expo. See you soon.